It's Hearthstone Grandmasters in our inaugural week here, and we have our fifth and final match of our second day. It's Casie versus Orange that's coming up in this one, and another match I'm very excited for because we get to see Hunter compete yet again, try to redeem itself.
We do indeed. Ball Control and Orange are obviously teammates now on SKT T1, and they are both the two players to have brought the Beast Hunter that we see represented here in the first week, which we are now taking a look at. It performed miserably for Ball Control, it's fair to say.
I want to add a caveat to that because I don't think it performed miserably. I think it failed to close the game.
Okay,
I think it performed very well.
It was looking very strong at the start of the games. I'll give you that. It did not fall flat on its face. But as you can see here, some of the key cards in this matchup, specifically against Warrior, Dire Frenzy is so important. Giving you that fatigue state, shuffling those beasts into your deck, hopefully comboed with Vicious Scalehide can be very, very useful to get that healing against the bombs of Bomb Warrior.
Yeah, I've been talking about Bomb Warrior. That's exactly what Casie is playing in this one. We'll take a look at his deck next. But talking about the Vicious Scalehide and Dire Frenzy, you know, when we think back to Ball Control's match, that's exactly what was missing in his first game, was Dire Frenzy to be able to duplicate it on the Scalehide and restore that health as you went through the game. It's such a key facet to it because the deck really doesn't have a ton of ways to just simply protect itself. It's often left handling minions one by one until you eventually build that overwhelming spot. Once you have the overwhelming spot, you have to recover somehow.
And that's definitely something that I did not anticipate against specifically Bomb Warrior. Obviously against Rogue, which is essentially a burn deck, the healing off of Vicious Scalehide buffed up +3/+3 is insane. You're just going to be healing up so much every single game. But the bombs from Bomb Warrior, that was really the undoing of Ball Control in his series against Silvername yesterday, where he was just being pressured by Blastmaster Boom, as well as obviously the Clockwork Goblins and Wrench Calibers as well, that he just couldn't really fight back against.
Yeah, and taking a look at Casey's deck, which is what we're heading into next, this is the lean version of Bomb Warrior that I prefer at the moment. Perhaps you could make an argument for multiple copies of Brawl, but the one Town Crier, one Acolyte of Pain is such a small change to me that makes a big impact that this is the version that I've had the most success with.
Yeah, Casie is very, very much up there in players I will trust to have the best decks the vast majority of the time. He is one of the best players of all time in Hearthstone, in my opinion, despite not having had quite so many tournament victories as I think he deserves. He came very close a couple of times last year in the tour stop system. As you said, I believe it was at Orange County where he lost to Fino in the finals, where he so nearly got that all-important victory.
We talk a lot about Hunter Ace's success on the tour stop series last year, but Casie was right up there with him in terms of number of top 16s.
He was the most top 16ers, I think, drawing with Hunter Ace at the end.
Exactly, and the difference really was that Hunter Ace was going a little bit deeper once you hit the single elimination stage. But Casie, time and again, proved his consistency, and that's been the case for him for his entire Hearthstone career. Absolutely. He's been very consistent, he's been near the top, and just hasn't had the victories that all these players tend to chase. You know, almost anytime you talk to a player that competes all the time, they don't tell you about their second places, they don't tell you about their third places. All they talk about is how badly they want the win. They would take washouts time and time again as long as they could secure wins afterwards.
However, if you crave the adoration of Lorinda, getting those top 16s is really how you get his favor.
I mean, that's a feat, I'm telling you. It's like Hearthstone is about consistency.
It is. It absolutely is.
You're not going to win every time. It's any given Sunday, and it's the fact that you keep getting the opportunity to have those big wins. That's the marquee of a good player.
I fully agree, my friend.
And so in this matchup, again, we saw Ball Control have very strong ways to fight for board and keep pressure going. But in his Magic and Silvername, it just got checked over and over and over again. Casie has the kind of hand that with a couple of key draws feels like it's going to be in that same position right now.
Do you want to play a game? I will give you a crisp, clean high five if you can tell me what the card to the left of the coin is.
Shield Slam.
Nice.
Nailed it after I could read half the text. There's a lot of other cards that say, for each armor you have.
Reckless Flurry? I guess the wording's a little bit different. But here we go. Just curving out very nicely here for Casie at the start of the game, which is, I would say, expected against this Hunter. It's not like the previous meta before we hit this standard rotation. where you had obviously the Dire Moles, the Crackling Razor Maws. You curved out very effectively indeed. Now it's much more of a mid-game deck that relies on the combos of cards like Springport and Timberwolf in order to be pulling back the board.
Yeah, I mean, Casey's pace of play is going to match his opening hand here as well. Casie, very well known for being a particularly fast player. And in fact, in the times I've watched Casie, sometimes he's gotten to high-pressure situations and slowed himself down because of that. And at times, that has caused him to rethink situations or overthink situations. But at the same time, playing too quickly it has. And it's, you know, it feels to me like it's difficult to find that middle ground when you're so used to playing that fast at a high level.
Yeah, and it's one of Casey's, I would say, biggest advantages. Like you say, he doesn't overthink himself. He knows that he's naturally so talented at the game that he will be able to see the right lines of play. And also, gives your opponent less time, puts the pressure on them to be making those plays without having your turn to think as well.
And sometimes, when you just have the nuts, it looks like you just have the nuts and you're super confident. Yep. You know, I think Casie, with or without a hand like this, would have been playing at the same pace. And honestly, like, I feel like the momentum of a matchup can change. Like, the longer my opponent tends to take for something, as soon as they have that mediocre play, I feel like I smell blood in the water. And I go, ooh, time to get aggressive. I'm going in.
And, you know, it really does work well for him. I think in all the time I've cast and watched him, I can remember 2 times where he has made a blunder because of playing so fast. Like a strict bad play. Which I've seen many other players who play a lot slower make many more times.
Like me.
A prime example. Slow and bad, one might say. Not me, because I love it.
It's just a great description of my career. Casie, I mean, this was, you can't have a better opening than this, really.
Yep. Yes. I mean, if your plan is to curve out, then yes, this is the absolute dream, which is obviously not the plan in every matchup. However, here, I'd take this. I'd be very happy.
What matchup do you not want to curve out in with Bomb Warrior? I'm actually curious about that because I can't really think of one. Maybe you forego the 1-drop against like Mage?
Yeah, I'm thinking, well, well, it's not so much that curving out is bad, it's that you would rather have other stuff in your hand is more good than curving out against, which I would say arguably Mage, because if they go Giant plus Conjurer's Call, you can't beat that really just by curving out. You need the removal cards like Super Collider.
So the top of the curve is Super Collider.
Well, yes.
That's the ideal. I'm not saying like
yeah.
that's what you're going to do. I'm saying that would be the ideal situation. Interesting.
Now.
I've never tried to not mulligan for a curve with Bomb Warrior.
I mean, it's probably just bad. It was more of a passing comment that got way more light shone on it than was probably deserved.
Wrench Caliber drawn. My goodness, Casie, slow down!
This is, of course, the Casie special, where you are not allowed to see the card he draws before he's played it and ended his turn.
Bomb number 1. Orange is going to have to get busy in this game.
He is. However, that Die Frenzy pickup is what size of draw?
It's pretty big. I
Fairly
actually think this might have been the best draw on Orange's deck. And honestly, I think here he should be going for Vicious Scalehide and a Dire Frenzy.
I could not agree more. He's clearly under a lot of pressure. That's how you heal up. It also gives you a huge amount of board control, and you've got the Master's Call to redraw it once you've done it.
I guess the one caveat to it is timing. You know, think back to the Tice match where Tice was able to neutralize Bunny Hopper's defense because of the timing of pressure. Just because it's the best play right now, it doesn't mean it doesn't even get even better later on. If he does it going into Casey's turn 7, does Casie always play Blastmaster Boom in that instance?
Yeah, okay. But then if he... Oh, so going before his Blastmaster Boom rather than in response to it. Okay,
right,
yeah.
Because here, Casie really wants to Shield Slam this.
Yes,
and if he has Shield Slam, that's going to work. So now he gets to go into Blastmaster Boom, not necessarily fearing Scalehide on board. Orange is now at the mercy of having it.
I mean, you still get strong follow-up. I fully see your point that when you have a rush lifesteal minion like Vicious Scalehide or Ziliax, obviously most famously, you want to be immediately getting that lifesteal when you play it. But I think there's still such strong follow-up for Orange that this is a perfectly reasonable line of play. He can even redraw and play another one right here if he wants to with the Master's Call. Just for the 2-mana cost, assuming he doesn't draw one of his other beasts, which he's very likely to get the 4/6 Scalehide.
There's actually 4 total unique beasts left in the deck for Orange. It's Vicious Scalehide, Timberwolf, Springpaw, and Shimmerfly.
But Vicious Scalehide kind of counts as 2 different ones because there's this other small one and the 3 bigger ones in the deck.
Ah, gotcha.
So like in terms of getting a buffed up Scale Hide, there's kind of 5 options. But this buffed up Scale Hide is more likely to be found than the smaller one because you can't get 2 of the same beast.
Yeah, I like the Snake Trap here because you anticipate Casie killing your Timberwolf. That gives you more things in play to fight against the Boom. And so he's now delayed the Boom from Casie, but Casie still has a strong response. But now Orange gets to answer with Master's Call and get a payoff from Vicious Scale Hide.
And look at this as well, perfectly sized to deal with this Dynamatic as well with the Vicious Scale Hide.
We're looking at 4 bombs left in the deck for Orange, is that right?
So 1 was drawn.
He had 2 from the initial Clockwork, he had 1 from another Clockwork, and 2 more from a Wrench Caliber. So scratch one of those because drawn, so it's 4 left.
I guess 4 left, yeah.
So Master's Call thins out a lot of beasts from the deck. At what point do you want to use tracking to try to track over bombs? Or if that even a necessary consideration?
Yeah, I always forget about the tracking over bombs. And that adds an even more interesting thought, is that if you do it before Blastmaster Boom, they don't know how good their Boom is going to be. With 4 bombs left in deck, it's likely to still fill up the board.
I love weird situations
But
like this.
it's niche. It's pretty niche, but it could mess with Casey's head a little bit.
I mean, right now, 1 out of 4 cards in Orange's deck is a bomb.
Now.
Yes.
1 out of 5, excuse me?
1 out of 5, yeah. Which is why I would imagine he's going to try and heal back up on this turn.
Ah. I like this.
What, playing the, rolling the Leo?
I was kind of looking at the Shimmerfly
Oh, okay.
because of, you know, this to me feels like a kind of desperate spot. I'm like, I really need to get something that makes an impact. But the next turn, he's able to attack with Scalehide and Leok.
Yeah.
And in the face of Blastmaster Boom, can just add Shimmerfly to the board to try to absorb a bomb hit.
Yeah. And this really is just so crucial here for Casie. When we were actually doing a test Skype call with him a couple days ago, he was saying just how important he believes Blastmaster Boom to be in this matchup. It is the core of beating Hunter, because eventually they will fatigue you with the ability to go, obviously, the Vicious Scalehide into Dire Frenzy, replaying those Dire Frenzies with Zul'jin afterwards as well. You got to slam this down as early as possible and try and just blow them up.
Another Vicious Scalehide found, but 1 tracking to over as well.
Which means that is all of them gone.
But you have to have this extra health, I think.
Yep.
And so now the question is sequencing. To me, it looks like Shimmerfly first, and then start the attacks.
Why does that? Oh, sorry, to soak up a bomb hit. Yeah, sorry, I understand. Yeah, that would make sense.
I'm not necessarily convinced that you're attacking bombs though. Like Blastmaster Boom is a 7/7.
Do you, so he can set up a what,
Now.
1 out.
Leok and Vicious
4?
Scalehide take that out.
Yeah. Well, I was looking if you can go for a deadly shot. 1 out of 4 is the best you can get, but that's just too unlikely.
I like taking out the Boom here.
Yep. I'm
gonna risk the Boom getting hit here. Oh wow, the Leok. That was a scary moment for me.
I think it was right. I think it was just right. It was so unlikely. What was that? 1 out of 12 for it to hit the 1 out of 3 and 1 out of 4 down.
Yeah. Bomb Warrior makes you consider all of the tiny things that
It does.
done.
Yeah. It's the kind of the order in the randomness that occurs. You have to
Interesting.
make it work in your favor.
He's gonna flip the Dynomatic. Says 50% chance to kill the Vicious Scalehide, 50% chance to draw a 3rd card.
I guess. I mean, I guess this is kind of, I don't know, is it better in a way? You get more immediate face damage because you can sacrifice off one of the bombs.
I think you just want to cash in on the Accolade.
Yeah. That's obviously the difference. Ooh, does he want to activate Rat Trap? Oh, it's... Yeah.
I don't think you mind.
It's a rather unimportant town crier, though, wouldn't you say?
I think it's an unimportant Rat Trap. I think the job has been done for Casie. He's gotten past that point. He has Dr. Boom in hand. I think the Dr. Boom in hand is the reason he plays the Town Crier. Then the Zilliax from the deck and keep drawing your business.
But, so next turn, maybe not next turn, but at some point, Dr. Boom Hero Power is a very likely play, I would say. At which point, fitting in the 1 mana is very easy then. I guess this just gives you more options because it gets the Zilliax immediately to magnetize on. I guess he's going to have to play 3 cards at some point, right? So...
Darok's flabbergasted.
It was an interesting, it was a weird play. I was not expecting him to do that because it just gives Orange a little bit more removal. But, I mean, when you're at over starting health total.
And your opponent's got 1 minion in play and you have 5.
A fair point.
Yeah. Are they going to deadly shot you?
Now.
You know, the boombots, activating the rat trap while you have the boombots in play, I think is the ideal situation.
I guess so. I mean, I would say the ideal situation is to do it when it's not the last move of your turn, so that you can still interact with the rat and deal with it immediately.
I really want to disagree with you here, but I can't.
Well, I'm just right.
That's why I want to disagree with you.
Well, I mean, the ideal way to deal with rat trap is with Kazan Mystic. Unfortunately, we're in standard. Yeah, this is why you get the Ziliax. All right, I've come over to Team Casie and Admirable.
It just didn't matter. That's what really happened. Casie did the work in the...
Also,
look, Casie had the nuts in this game. That's going to happen in cards. That's a reason you play decks, is because they can have the nuts draw. Would you play a deck that couldn't get the nuts draw?
What, that was really powerful but always drew its cards in the worst order?
No, a deck that just, like, it did not have a way to just get a draw where you go, I did the thing, I'm going to win.
Oh no, those decks suck.
No, those decks are awesome.
No.
They're decks like Rogue and Bomb Warrior and Mage.
What are you talking about? Rogue can go coin, prep, party, Edwin.
That is the nuts.
Well, you're saying, why would I play a deck that can't draw the nuts?
Right. Why would you play a deck that cannot draw the nuts?
No, I wouldn't. That's what I said. Those decks suck. The decks that can't, that don't have a nut draw.
Oh, I see. I did it backwards. Dang it, I can't disagree with you again. How are you right twice?
All good decks in Hearthstone have a potential to just blow up.
I guess to be fair, you've been right every single time. I just happen to disagree on some of those. And all this jibber jabber,
spice to life.
all this jibber jabber is because Orange is not going to win this game. Like the ship has sailed.
There we go. Bomb tracked over. Dire Frenzy. It's one of the key cards in the matchup, undeniably, because he's still got the second Vicious Scalehide in his deck. You can get the healing once again with that.
I'm looking at like Animal Companion, a Huffer, Dire Frenzy it, and just keep drawing Huffers.
I like that. I like that very much.
I guess a 7/7 taunt will do.
A 3-mana 7/7 is reasonable, one might say.
It's even more powerful than in the past. However, Orange has to close the game from this position, and it is a long shot to say the least.
Defend the gates.
Well, more weaponized pinatas could make that active.
So that says from another class, not non-rogue.
From another class.
Okay, so it wouldn't replay all the warrior cards.
I am 99% sure.
I agree with you. I'm pretty sure you're right. That would be cool, though. That would be cool. You can't disagree with me.
Nah, I think it'd be dumb.
Ugh.
Casie just relaxed, chilling out.
Just playing his biggest guy every turn.
Just a big old 6/6 for 8 mana.
Oh. How disappointing.
That wasn't disappointing. Look, I have no idea what she's capable of.
More than that.
Oh, okay.
So what are we looking at here? One rat trap's already in play, I believe, right?
You kill the 6/6, I think. Pretty straightforward.
So you just played Fireball, basically, there.
Yeah.
Really.
Assassinate, Fireball. Sabotage, whatever card you want to name that blows up your opponent's lone minion.
Yeah.
They're a crazy Zul'jin turn that can make this happen. It's pretty much got to be Zul'jin, and Zul'jin's got to go nuts.
And here we are, one bomb away from just dying on the spot here. This game, it's not over, but it's
It's been over for a while.
It's been over
but
for a
it's not
while.
technically over.
Yes. That's a lot more bombs, but it's also a lot of damage he's tanking. So if everything misses here, oh no, because he kills the 5. No, he never does.
Tracking over 2 bombs into Zul'jin. Zul'jin tracks over the rest of the bombs. You Dire Frenzy something crazy and get back into it. That's the only way.
I'm with you. Let's do it. Let's live in that world where that happens.
How many kill commands does Orange play? Could he just get like a weird double kill command face turn?
He's already played one, right?
That's what I mean.
One came off the mark
Like
shot.
Zul'jin obviously is the key card to have happen.
Yes, of course.
So can he win through that? I mean, that's a good draw for Casie.
None of these kill yet, even though we can obviously rush in, get the 3 to face. 1 damage off Lethal.
So Casie could, technically play around some nonsense here with the Rusty Recycler.
Okay.
I don't remember if Orange has played 2 kill commands or not, and I don't think he has. So it could cast Animal Companion into Huffer, Dire Frenzy the Huffer, and kill command Casey's face, but it has to be Zul'jin. And it's not.
That's not Zul'jin. Can't clear the board, can't kill his opponent. Even if the bomb isn't drawn, kaboom! From Dr. Boom Mad Genius. We'll close it out anyway. Casie has this one on lock.
Masterful.
It is kind of crazy that Orange did have like an out there.
He
though.
had an out, as slim as it may have been.
Casie very decisive in game number 1, but but it just in a weird way where you look at it and you're like, how is it still possible to lose at this point? Like, the 100 deck has a lot of game. It's just that like I feel like it's not closing. Like something feels like it's missing.
Yeah, that's definitely what the problem seems to be, because even though the start was very powerful there for Casie, where he got, the perfect curve of minions and the Dr. Boom, the Blastmaster Boom as well to fill up the board with all those minions, Orange held his own in the early game. That wasn't the problem with the deck. He managed to fight back very effectively. It was just sticking something on board. And I mean, I guess arguably it's that Zul'jin hasn't been played once yet, I think, so far, or if it has, it's been very underwhelming.
Yeah, just not really in Europe anyway. There hasn't been an opportunity to see it get it done. So we got to go to a break, but when we come back, Casie versus Orange, game number 2 is coming up. Hunter has been underperforming. We're going to find out if Orange can turn that around.
So you're probably wondering why I gathered you here. Let me take a moment and break it down. We've been given black eyes by the good guys. Oh, but that's about to change. Those meddlesome mortals who've mocked up our missions will finally feel some of our pain. You see, I have a devious plan that requires a demonstrative fist, and each of you will have your dreams come true as a fiendish finger of peace.
What?
All right, let me try this again. Alone all our dreams went.
Kaboom!
Yes, but united we'll take
the candle.
nothing bigger.
I'm seeing what you want to do.
Let me hit it.
We'll come together so we can dismantle.
Now here's the plot to capture your greed and intrigue. We'll take Dalaran for all that it's got. As we form an evil league.
Our fifth and final match of the Hearthstone Grandmasters for Europe is underway right now. Casie leads 1-0 over Orange, and that's admirable. And I'm joined by Derek Brown, and it looks to me like Hunter just can't quite get the job done. It seems like no matter what situation it gets into, something small is lacking to push it over the hump.
It does feel that way. However, Orange switching over to his secondary deck, I believe, has got a little bit of extra juice that may help him get over the finish line. We are talking about double Tundra Rhino, double Savannah Highmane, and an extra copy of Stranglethorn Tiger thrown in there as well. All just big beasts thrown in there to be trying to take down the warrior, overcome their seemingly insurmountable removal.
He gets to remove a Tracking, a Rat Trap, a Deadly Shot, and to Unleash the Hounds. Cards that are not fantastic, I'd say, against Bomb Warrior in this regard. Casey's going to be sticking on the primary deck, says it's good enough, and rightfully so. I take a look at his other two decks, and there's really no help in this regard. Something that's interesting to note, which I actually didn't realize about Casey's deck, and I don't think I've realized about any time that I've played this variant of it, there's no Omega Assembly in the initial deck. I actually, because I remember I copied this deck code off of Twitter.
Right. I did not
and
notice
I've
that
not
either.
noticed at all that that card was missing until literally just now.
That's one of the cards you just don't even bother looking for because you assume it's core.
I remember building decks in Hearthstone way back when like Miracle Rogue was there. And I remember I'd get my Miracle Rogue deck built, and I'd be like, how did I fit in all these extra cool cards? And I'm like, I forgot to put in Auctioneer and Preparation because I just assumed they were here already.
Yeah, it's like my first ever Reno Jackson game where I realized I was just playing one copy of every card for no benefit at all. Just didn't put him in.
Bluff value.
Yeah, exactly.
They were always fearing Reno Jackson and misplayed horrendously as a result.
Some real galaxy brain plays there from me.
Orange facing down a little bit of an early curve here. Not an ideal opener for Orange, I would say.
This is the way that this Hunter deck always feels for me, though. I have to be honest.
I wish you could see Derek right now. If there's any way we could have gotten picture-in-picture right there, that would have been the time for it. Derek leans as close into the monitor, chin as low to the desk as possible to that play. And I do the same.
Size? Oh, it was just hand size.
It's strictly hand size.
Okay. Yeah, I was leaning in close.
Can't you just wait? Do this? I guess he doesn't want to waste the coin. Okay. All right, I get it. It's not. It's Galaxy Brain. That's what it is.
This game is just full of absolute expanding brain plays.
The problem here for Orange is that once again, Casie has drawn that curve, and Orange is in trouble in this spot. Like, I'm actually worried that he's just going to die here. He does have Vicious Scalehide and Dire Frenzy, but that's going to require coin, and he can't really load anything up this turn.
Casey's pretty good at curving out with this deck. I gotta hand it to him, and it's a direct result of the fact that he's cutting cards like Omega Assembly. Instead, he's putting in double Elic. He's got all the 1-drops that he can fit in, as well as just the perfect curve opportunity, double Wrench Caliber. He's just going to be doing a lot of damage.
Only one copy of Town Crier, but
I mean,
again, like the games of Hearthstone,
the good amount.
They go this way sometimes. Sometimes you just need the good early cards. Like when you play against Rogue and they have Evil Miscreant 2 games in a row. Like it's just a card. Like I don't think Casie needed the 1-drops for this game to look good for him. Coin Elic into Clockwork is enough of a curve to look substantial.
Yeah. And I think the really scary thing for Orange isn't even necessarily the board he's facing down now, which can be dealt with through the form of Vicious Scalehide, Coin, Dire Frenzy. He can heal up and get a bit of removal. It's the Blastmaster Boom that is there yet again for Casie to follow up in just a couple turns' time.
Orange going to load up a bunch of 1-drops and say go. This is a spot where he does get to mitigate a tiny bit of damage by not trading in. So his ultimate game plan is to be able to have Vicious Scalehide recover in the face of Casie not having an answer. But this doesn't allow to develop, and Unleash the Hounds gets picked up.
Off of Shimmerfly, okay.
Mind you, Unleash the Hounds has been cut from Orange's deck.
So Unleash, Coin, Animal Companion, if Huffer was to be rolled, he could clear.
I think you go for the Scalehide this turn, and the reason why is simply because you need to draw more Scalehides.
Yeah, you're just dying. I mean, Unleash the Hounds will, in all the worst case scenarios for you, Unleash the Hounds will continue to be good, and in all the non-worst case scenarios for you, you're not going to need it because you're in a good position anyway.
Yeah.
So I think I can understand that.
If you think about one of the ideal answers from Casie as well in this spot, it's going to be Shield Slam, it's going to be Militia Commander, or it's going to be Ziliax that fights back against the Vicious Scalehide. The Ziliax is the best of them. When the Ziliax come down, it adds another minion to the board, which, you know, can compound with the Unleash pressure. I think Orange can fight this, but it's going to require some fortune on his part.
It really is. And so now, Animal Companion, Unleash the Hounds. This definitely feels like the time to be good for that.
It's a Misha. Misha's still pretty good here.
That's fine.
You're able to clear off 3 minions with Unleash the Hounds.
You're very happy with this.
As you mentioned,
I'd say that might even be the best outcome, actually.
The big problem is that Blastmaster Boom is on deck.
Yes. Which will be summoning 2 sets of boom bots, so 4 overall, I believe. With the Elec into...
Clears up the 3/3 instead of keeping the extra minions around. That protects the Misha. Interesting.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's what I was looking at. You just want to clear off the most amount of attack possible.
Yeah, and Casie here with 3 bombs in Orange's deck needs to consider the value of a 2/4 versus the value of an extra Boombot, and I would almost certainly take the Boombot in this instance.
Has he got 3? I thought it was the Elec into Clockwork Goblin, so just 2.
Was it just the 2?
I think it might have been just the 2, but again, my bomb tracking
yeah,
skills have needed some work over the weekend, that's for sure.
Yeah, okay. My head is melding with game 1 because it happened at such a rapid pace. Oh, of course. Oh, now the bombs get drawn.
In a very timely fashion as well there for Casie.
Yeah, so Orange in real trouble here.
And what can he do? He's just getting stomped. Casey's face, that is the face of a man who's just gone Blastmaster Boom on curve twice.
With coin, with Elec, with Clockwork.
Who to shoot?
This is the situation where Casie taught me a word in German for this exact situation, which is lecker schmecker.
Alright, what does that mean?
Yummy.
Not face. Good for Orange. Face, bad for Orange. Lethal.
That's just game.
Casie, 2 games to 0 and can't help but laugh. And Orange just does not have the fight in his hand to fight off Casey's draws. I mean, Casie, honestly, in this game, just had the goods.
He really did. And I was going into this weekend saying that Ball Control and Orange might have been 2 of the boldest and best picks in terms of both bringing that Beast Hunter here, because it's very nice against the Warrior. I usually find with the healing off of Dire Frenzy in combination with the Vicious Scalehide, and obviously all the fatigue inevitabilities that you can prepare for with that Dire Frenzy. But at the moment, it's just looking like it gets steamrolled by Bomb Warrior. It can't stand up to the aggression because it's lost so much of that early game, which it had in the previous meta when it was the tier 1 absolute best deck. Because it just can't curve out anymore.
The one that I really look at for me is still just the board control match. It went long and he couldn't get it done. In this one, Orange, I think it's just an unfortunate circumstance. Casie had the goods. Sometimes that's the story, and that's the story here in my opinion.
I fully agree. It was a bit disappointing for Orange because, again, I like that he went for something a little bit different. He clearly prepared for it extensively, I would say, with his teammate Ball Control. But it just has not worked out for them. Again, it's seeming like unless you're matched up against the mages, Bomb Warrior is just the absolute goods.
And we have Casie on the line for an interview. So, Casie, can you hear us?
One second, I can't hear you guys. Give me a second.
We can hear Casie though. So we'll get
my Skype's on.
I guess we're going to listen to him in the meantime here. We're going to get this fixed as quickly as we can because we'd love to talk to Casie about his opening performance here in Grandmasters. Casie, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can. Hey.
There he is.
Congratulations on your win here today. You made it look like a breeze. Although in game 1, there was a chance for Zul'jin to go crazy and actually take you out in that position. Talk to me about your preparation for your first match here in Grandmasters.
So basically, my preparation has always been with Bunny Hopper and Vira. That's basically our German group of preparation. And then we were like, we wanna play Rogue. Rogue is the best deck. Then I have a friend, like she has been playing Open Cups nonstop, and she told me, wow, no, you're not playing Rogue. Rogue is not that good. You have to play Bomb Warrior. Then Bunny Hopper, then we played Rogue a bit and we kept losing in preparation. I was like, okay. Asuna told me, play Bomb Warrior. And then I was like, Bunny, I want to play Bomb Warrior. And then I just kept beating him. And he was like, yeah, I don't play Rogue. I'm going to play Bomb Warrior as well. And yeah, that's basically our preparation.
So you're responsible for all the nonsense that's been going around with all the Warrior picks here. That's good to know. These first 2 games, you just had the goods in these opening hands. What kind of situations have you found have you practiced against Hunter, and what kind of times do you struggle with Hunter if you've practiced against it?
The times you struggle against Hunter is if you don't get one of your 3-1 drops, or if you're on the play. Like if you're on coin, you have so many 3 drops, then you win most of the time. But on the play without 1 drop, you basically never win. And
so,
what we figured out, sorry?
No, go ahead.
And what we figured out is that like it's a little bit like the slower you build your Hunter, the worse it gets against Bomb Warrior, at least the way I play it, because I play Bomb Warrior like even Paladin.
I think it's a good way to play it. Even Paladin was good.
Just play your cards.
Yeah, just go face.
All right, my one question for you, Casie, is can you teach me to be as good as you? That was just unbelievable. How did you do it?
How did I do it? Like, I think it looked like a misplay that I procced his red trap, but my hand was good that I was like, I don't care if he plays Surgeon. I want him to play Surgeon to get another red trap because I just want to draw Wrench Calibu. I don't want to draw Ciliax. I just want to keep hitting him. But yeah, like I played 39 games against his specific Hunter decks. So the last 2 days. So I think it's just like preparation. Bunny Hopper and Ivy prepare a lot. So from there it comes like naturally that you play okay.
And so that's where you learned to curve perfectly into Blastmaster Boom every game.
yeah, sometimes it happens, right? Like you're gonna end up drawing one of your 7 drops at some point.
So 39 games for you doesn't take very long at the pace of your play. That's really been, I think, one of the biggest talking points for you as a player and as your style is that you play so quickly. Do you find that playing that quickly gives you more comfort? Do you find that you make mistakes more often if you're taking time, or if you're playing too quickly? Like, how did this style develop, and why do you continue to follow through with it?
I continue because on this pace, because I played this matchup the days before so long. If you could ask Bunny Hopper right now, in preparation, I am the guy roping.
It's an interesting juxtaposition when you're preparing with Bunny Hopper that you're the one roping and then perhaps he's the one who's playing a bit more quickly. But it's got to balance out somehow. Casie, congratulations on your win here in Grandmasters, and I look forward to seeing you play tomorrow.
Yep, have a nice day.
Thank you. You too.
I will.
Casey's such a nice guy.
He is a lovely man.
You know who are not nice guys?
Who?
TJ and Frodan, who we're going to have to bring on after this to hand it off to the Americas. So we got to go to a break, but when we come back, we're going to be finishing out the European region and heading over to America's Grandmasters. Don't go anywhere.